You know what? It's about the relationship, the one-on-one stuff. I found with even with our podcast, it's like I don't care if I have a million followers. That does right now that doesn't matter to me. It matters just like getting to know other people and how they can support you in your journey or not. Or just sometimes it's nice to just hear about people's journey. I mean, everybody's so interesting, and um, we just have in life, we have so many people coming at us with sales things, and everybody always wants something from you. So to be able to just be and chat and learn about other people without the expectation of receiving anything is the most fulfilling thing for me. So I just love getting to know people. I mean, there's so many stories out there, right? And how we all came to be, and we're all humans in the same world. We get one trip around this bad boy together, right? So might as well get to meet as many good people as we can,
I love that. Oh my gosh.
right?
Welcome to the podcast. We'll just start it from there with it.
That's fine. Yeah.
No, I love that. You speak my language because obviously, like, I come from an industry where it is all about heart and it's all about the connection of people. I've seen people work a different way where it is more like a business. And yes, we're all running businesses here for sure.
Yeah.
But if you put people first, in my experience, it always makes the difference. So, like, tell me about it. What in your business do you feel like is different? Like, I mean, wait. Let me start actually first.
Okay. Yeah.
Here's the story. So we were looking for a ring to buy for our engagement, right? And we were looking at like the chain stuff, like the big stuff around here, the big stores, Zales or whatever, you know.
Sure.
And we're like, yeah, we don't feel right with like participating in a big company like that. We wanted to keep it to like a local company, like something smaller. So we found you guys, and we used to live in Carefree, and so we're like, perfect, we'll make a little day trip out of it, we'll go out there. And we met Genesis, who was just I don't know what you guys do in your trainings for like your employees, but they're all just super nice.
Yeah.
Like, there's no ounce of salesiness, there's just like pure care, and like you know how people like the whole saying, like, nobody wants to be sold, they want to buy.
Yeah.
I wanted to buy, and it was an amazing experience. So
That's amazing.
that's to you
hear.
guys. Can you kind of talk about your process for that?
Yeah, it's and to your point, I mean, it's all about the people, right? Any company, I think you, I, or Michaela could, say, all right, well, what's a business model that we can make money on, and be quick and hammer it out and not care about people's feelings, and that's fine. And we could probably make, some quick money, but the reality is, it's not sustainable, it's not fulfilling, and who wants? At least me, I don't want to do anything that my heart is not into. I've done those things before. I've worked corporate America. I did very well with big banking, and I hated it.
Yeah.
I hated every day. I'd call my dad on my lunch breaks. I'd take a walk around the building and be like, "You say, hey, you're doing really well, and you're making a career for yourself." I said, "I don't want this to be who I am, because when you blink, 20, 30 years goes by real quick. You look back and you said, who am I? Who am I at the end? I'm a banker in a suit."
Yeah.
And so it all started with that realization of, if I'm not fulfilled, and selfishly so, I don't want to do it. So when I look for good team members, there is a lot of training that goes into the technical stuff of what we do at Andrews E. Diamonds. But the reality is, if you don't have that core selflessness, you're here to serve others first, you're here for an experience, because anybody can go to a big box store and say, I like that ring. 10,000 or 50,000 other people are going to have that ring, and I'm doing a transaction, and that's fine. And that will continue to exist for those people that get overwhelmed. They don't want the relationship. They just want the peace at the end of the day. And we are not for you, and that's okay.
Yeah.
However, if you're looking for somebody who truly cares at the end of the day and is going to help you service this, and also allow it to be a part of your story, which I think is wildly important, right? Like for the clients that come to us, and hopefully it was for you, is you get to come in with your fiance or without, and it's a really big moment, and you get someone to walk beside you and help affirm the decisions that you already have in your head. And maybe help provide some guidance and be professionals, with still allowing you to be comfortable in your purchase price and your timeline and all those things that are important to you. So finding those people is not easy, but when you do and you take care of them well, they buy into the culture of who we are. And it's not just me, it was my dad, it was my grandfather. So we stand on all their shoulders to do what we do today. And I'm third generation doing this. And third generation is usually the one who screws it up. And,
Right.
and
Still going strong.
I screw things up on the daily for sure. But Kayla can attest to that. But it's everybody who is working at our store has a good heart. And if you start with that, I can only do a certain amount of jobs per day, but if I have a team of 15, 20, or 30 people who can also help buy into my vision and do it their own way, I mean, that's how you create sustainability. So, long-winded answer to your question.
No, I love it. That's
Yeah.
perfect. It shows. It really shows.
Well, thank you.
Speaking of, we have Michaela here. How's it
Hi,
going?
guys.
You're, if I'm not mistaken, you're an employee, right?
Yeah, I'm the marketing coordinator at Andrew Z. So.
Would love to hear about kind of just like an introduction for yourself, and we'll kind of go you, and then we'll do you too, because we kind of just started all of a sudden. I'd like to get
sorry.
from the beginning the full story. But first, let's hear from you. And what were you doing before? How'd you find this place? What do you love about it? All the things.
Well, Scott swooped me up right after college, so that was awesome. Actually, he was friends with one of my marketing professors at the time, and so I was looking for a job. And with corporate, the application process is just brutal, and you're like another cog in the machine. I knew I didn't want to be another cog in the machine. I wanted to be actually see the fruit of what I'm doing and make a difference in whatever company that was. And I didn't really know. Scott could attest to this. I had no idea about jewelry beforehand, but my professor was like, "Oh yeah, Scott, he needs a marketing coordinator, and I think you would be a great fit." And so they took me to coffee, and we just got to know each other, and it clicked. And I think that's when it's the right fit, is when we're like, "Yep, this is it." Yeah, and I knew right away, this is the place that I want to work and grow.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool. So before we get to that, then what was your experience like? Because this is an interesting situation when we're talking about finding people that really care about the business and that have heart and that have that interpersonal thing. Because some people have it, some people don't. You know what I mean?
For sure.
What were the things that you saw in Michaela or others that you were like, wow, this, you're it. You know what I mean?
So I think it all stems back to yes, we can find great people. When you click with a person, that all makes sense. However, if you don't have a need, then you just have another friend. And I think I'm open to making friends any day of the week. And like I said, I love meeting people. We determined that we need a spot, whatever that is, a salesperson, a jeweler, a general manager, an office manager, a marketing coordinator. And what does that role potentially look like in our minds?
Yeah.
And then you go out and you try to find somebody with a base knowledge or skill set that might fit. And then when you make that connection, that person buys in off the bat of what your vision is, as long as the hiring person is open and honest about the potential, about their expectations and what boundaries you might have, then I think you're teeing yourself up for success. And the only way is up after that. If the hiring person or manager or company comes in and paints a picture that's not realistic, that's when you have failures. Or if the person that you're hiring is unrealistic about their talents or their wants or their career buy-in.
It's got to be honest.
Yeah, you have to have open and honest conversations. And if both parties can do that in any regard, we'll either shake hands and say we'll still be friends.
Right.
We'll say, I actually don't like you as a person and move on, which sometimes it happens and that's okay.
Not a good fit for the situation.
Or, hey, I have room for you in my life and you have room for me in your life.
Yeah.
And what does this look like? And when I first started I've known print advertising marketing, the old school, pick up the phone and call. And I don't think we lose that foundation of what we know works. However, I don't know a lot of things, and Michaela has a real passion for, website building, social media, creative, partners and influencers and all of those things. And it's not always because it's a young person, it's because she has an open mind and also is realistic about business budget and expectations of what we can actually put towards that attempting. And so,
Cool.
I think when you check all those boxes, you look at each other and say, you want to give this a go and let's try to grow this thing. And since Michaela was hired, we've been in Anthem for 22 years, which is crazy. And then we moved to Carefree. We didn't move, we added another location to Carefree in November of 24. And then we opened up our third location
that.
in DC
didn't know
Market
that.
Street in Scottsdale.
That's so
this
cool.
past
Congrats,
November.
you guys.
Yeah, well,
you.
it's all
The whole team.
The whole
right?
team. Yeah.
And
sure.
we wouldn't have been able to do so not without my salespeople, not without my general manager, my office manager, without Michaela, without me, all of us in lockstep moving forward.
You got that same vision, and it I've always seen businesses like succeed and fail in the because I do branding too, so like I'm involved and I like to see how things go, but I see some succeed and some fail when it comes to growth, and a lot of the times it does bleed from the top, like it's top down. And so to hear that, like, it starts with a good foundation, and then that foundation is taught and it's attracted to, which I think is really a cool piece of your guys' business. One thing that I wanted to know on is I think it's interesting. You guys said that you typically just meet potential hires in person, right? Is that like always?
We'll do a touch base phone call if it's a referral of, hey, I heard you're interested in working with the company in some capacity. Why don't we set up a coffee or a lunch or something like that? Let's learn more about each other without any promises of anything.
Right.
So yeah,
See where it goes.
I'm an in-person guy.
I agree.
I
think it's important.
It is.
Yeah.
You have to look somebody in the eyes. Evan, if we're not the right fit for you, it's okay. I hope you find somebody that is, but what can I provide to you to help you at least make that decision, right? There's something different about that versus, hey, Evan,
You don't check the boxes. Sorry.
yeah, you're not the right fit, you're not the right price, the timeline, product, whatever it is. But when you can actually make time for yourself, which I think is another qualifying part in the journey, if someone's not willing to meet with you in person or you're not willing to meet with them in person, both sides are not being open and honest about their commitment level to progressing this further, right? Moving the needle.
That makes sense. I love that. Okay. So love that. That's a great portion. I also wanted to talk about then, okay, so I'm getting off track, but we got this. I would like to know, like, tell me about your beginning story. So you said you're third generation. You said that you came from corporate, so we know all that. But what was the real switch between like the moment or like the literal week? Kind of walk me through when that transition happened, and how you kind of found your passion in that, and maybe even the history of it too. Like all these questions all in one.
Yep. All right, 15 questions. And I can hammer them out pretty quickly. Perfect. So my grandfather, he fled Poland during World War II. And he went to England. He was in the Royal Air Force. He worked on bombers over there. Then he came to America and he was in the Army Air Corps. When the war was over, he took the GI Bill and he learned how to repair watches. And then he started to do some watch repair in New York when he was here. And then he slowly learned how to solder chains and size rings and do those things. He eventually grew it to 4 locations in New York, 3 in Manhattan and 1 in Queens. That's awesome. And they were small shops, mom and pop shops. And then they sold those off and he opened one in New Jersey. And Dad operated that one and my father owned that for almost 40 years.
Whoa.
Good weather brought us out to Arizona and he wasn't sure if he was going to do it again, but he did appointment only and then he just got busier and busier and then he opened up the Anthem shop. I grew up playing with watches instead of Legos. Like I grew up with a torch in my hand when I was 7 years old. My dad let me melt my first jump ring, which is just a gold ring, and seeing the metal flow between the seams was like intoxicating. It was really cool. So I didn't always know that I wanted to do jewelry because I wasn't sure about what life I wanted and everything. I thought I was going to be an investment banker at some point, work on Wall Street and do all that stuff. And I went to college and just didn't have the passion for that. So I just did a general business degree. I moved out to Arizona, excuse me, and I worked for a big bank, Wells Fargo. And I got, I think, 3 or 4 promotions within the first year and a half. And my wife worked there also. And
Sorry.
she could tolerate going in, clocking in, and clocking out. She could tolerate clocking in and clocking out. And when I would go in, I would leave exhausted and deflated because I could not make the decisions that I wanted to, which I knew were right for the client at the end of the day. So again, I'd walk out on my lunch breaks or at the end of the day and like I just something doesn't feel right. So I told my dad, I said, "Hey, I don't love this. Can I come work for you?" So clocking in and clocking out was just not for me. And I asked Dad, I said, "Hey, do you have room at the store for me?" Because he had been operating for a few years then. And he said, "You know what? Maybe soon." So then I stayed at work and, went for interviews for another promotion for call center supervisor. And my wife was going for the same position. And Dad and I had talked and he goes, "All right, on this date you can come, but you're going to take a pay cut. And you have to be ready to do that financially before you make the move." Eventually, Jessie got the job, my wife. And I said, "Well, I'm giving my notice respectfully." And I went to go work for Dad, took a small pay cut to go work for him and built that business up. And we did really well. And it was really important because Dad wouldn't let me work with him in the beginning when I first moved out, because he said, "You need to see what the other side looks like." Because can you imagine if you joined the business and you were here and 20 years later, you're like, what else could I have done with my life? You saw what you could do and you could do well. However, there's more than just money at the end of the day. So my dad is my best friend. He taught me one of the most valuable lessons that I could, him and Mom. And it just solidified, whether we were shoe repair people or doing jewelry, the passion behind having your own successes be yours or your own failures be yours. Because I've had more failures than I have had successes in my life, especially running and operating the jewelry store. No one's perfect, but without seeing the other side and doing that, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now.
Dang.
So
That's so cool. Just a note. So cool because like you were saying, there's so many other people, other different, like, what do they call them? Like nepotism, you know what I mean?
Yeah, oh yeah.
That they're just given the thing and
Yeah.
they're like, they don't appreciate it.
Yes.
And they run it into the ground. And so having that experience of just like, go experience, like this is what usual life is outside of business ownership. And I won't say like, because I've done the same thing. I started at Salad and Go, Amazon delivering, and then I was like saving up, got my first cameras, got everything built, and then now I'm here, right?
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
You saw
I'm
it,
still
though.
going. Yeah.
You saw the other
Yeah.
side.
I saw what it could be like, hated every minute of it. Just
Which
the
makes you come
worst.
into the podcast room and do your stuff and work harder, right?
Yes, exactly. I think everybody, it's not for everybody, business ownership, because it's still like there are major struggles, there are major stresses, but the rewards are the greatest.
And they're yours.
And they're yours. Yeah. So I talked to my fiance, that's fun to say.
Yeah, it is.
Out,
Congratulations.
Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. I talked her like out of her employment that she was at. She was at a kennel facility training dogs for like 10 years or something, like 8 years, I think.
Long time.
And a super toxic environment, like
Yeah.
total top-down issue for sure. And I finally was like, I'm running a business. I know how to like at least get you out the door and like running with a website, with like Instagram, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so, and we came together, her friends and everybody were like, you can do it. And then she finally got the courage to like, all right, let's do it. And it's been really fulfilling to see her like grow on her own, because I don't have time to manage her business or anything.
Yeah.
So she's like making all the decisions. She renovated the backyard. Like she's getting clients. We started door to door putting flyers out like for getting the word out. And then obviously Instagram was like the best type of attraction marketing. But yeah,
But she has ownership, right? And now you helped her see her potential in herself. And if you notice that she is wired that way, you kind of were that catalyst to help her realize that in herself. And now she's doing tremendously, in many ways. But beyond the financial, again, it's fulfilling to her. She can go be with those dogs. She can have real impact instead of, again, like you said, the top, bleeding down in the wrong way and having to live with that every day and feel like you're just stuck working for something that you truly don't buy into.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's cool.
Yeah.
So, all right, we're going to pivot. Question for you both, but first to Kayla. So, as you've been working with this company, what has been the like major differences aside from the ones that have already been talked about that you see? Because like we talked about the culture already and like how it's different, but is there anything on your end that you see that's like has attributed to the success of and the growth of Andrews E. Diamonds?
Yeah, I think the leadership has changed 3 times since I've worked there. Just for various reasons, people move on, life stuff. But I think I've seen the most growth in the past probably year and a half. Just the leadership is like this right now. And it's like I think I call it like the Trinity, the triad. Like they are 3 awesome people that are just in sync. We got the general manager Warren. We got Gloria. She does all of our office management. She kind of she's the conductor, the one that keeps everything going. And I think they are just an awesome duo. And then obviously Scott, he's the visionary. And so getting those 3 together in a room, manage like everyone has their seat, like Scott said. Like everyone has their spot that they're supposed to be. And when you own your seat and your spot, you can really make stuff happen. And that's what I've seen so much growth this year. Honestly, since I've started working there, we have 3 stores now. So that's crazy. Yeah. But just that everyone owns their seat, and the processes that are able to be implemented, the issues that we're able to resolve from that, everyone feels comfortable enough to come to leadership to to voice things that they could see improvements on, or if it's like something with a repair, like, hey, I think we can do XYZ and this will get better, and they listen, and if it's implementable, we do it. And it's really cool for everyone to feel like they have a voice and to be heard. And I think that's really just all what we want in general, like in life. We just want our voice to be heard, our ideas to be at least thought about, from somebody else. And so I think seeing that, like, as an employee, as someone like who I get to work with the sales associates directly every single day, like I really do see that processes being implemented. And yeah, that's basically it.
That's awesome.
It's awesome to hear.
Yeah, like,
yeah,
great.
Yeah, feels good.
It's
Glad
working.
you're happy with your job.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Well, employee satisfaction it's everything, and I think a lot of business owners are scared to delegate. It's scary to bring somebody else into your world and say, I'm comfortable with you making some decisions on your own. For the ones that you don't feel comfortable with, you can come to me and bounce ideas off of. And we talk daily, every other day, and just run ideas by each other. And some of them are like, hey, put a bookmark in it. We'll come back to it in a year. Let's do that. Or actually, that sounds good. So, and my joke with Michaela is, hey, if you come up with a good idea, be careful, because then I'm going to make you execute
Then we're
it.
going to have to
Yeah,
do
it's
it.
That's such a good idea.
You're making more work for yourself
Yeah.
there.
But it's true. When
That's awesome.
when I was at Wells Fargo, no, people would hear you, but you can't do anything about it. And
Yeah.
when you keep hitting that wall, what do you do? So, truly building a team, if that is the business model for growth. Growth doesn't always mean adding more team members. Sometimes it's efficiencies in your day, about what you're doing, and how effective you are in planning your day. And I'm not the best person at that. Michaela mentioned I'm a visionary, and it's pretty obvious what that means, but I just have the big picture in my head of what it looks like, 6 months down the road, a year down the road, maybe 5 years down the road, of what is a stretch goal. And beyond that, I have no idea. But having people execute the daily stuff, someone may come to me, Scott, I was dealing with you 15 years ago. My son's getting engaged. They want to meet with you. And I say to them, I promise I want to meet with them, and I will meet with them. But I'm going to have one of my sales employees run that project themselves, and I'll keep tabs on it, because they can own that project from start to finish but then the finish isn't finished.
Mm.
It's follow up, it's touch bases, it's your annual, hey, come in for a check and clean, and let's make sure all the prongs are tight and all that. And when you have the team that can own that, again, owning their seat, they feel more, you know, validated. They'll have a better client, will have a better experience.
Yes.
And, you know, it seems obvious, but it's really tough to let go for a lot of people. And even me, sometimes too, I have a tough time letting go of certain things.
I'm
But
the same way.
it's hard because you know how you want it to be done, right?
For
You know how you want that end product to look, but their vision may be better.
Yeah, that's one thing I've actually been toying with my growth as a company. I've gotten to the point where I'm just swamped with edits and deliverables and things, and I'm like, all right. So I've been having calls with editors and things like that. Like I have a pretty good process for photo because it's like I've just really dialed it in.
Yeah.
So it's like a mixture of AI assistance culling, right? You guys know what culling is?
I don't.
So culling's like where you go through on an engagement session, right? You take 600, 1,000 photos for like an hour and a half.
It's a lot of photos.
It's incredible. It's so
You don't want to miss the moment, right?
yeah,
That's
so you
it.
get more than you think because the frame adjacent might be the one, you know?
Sure.
So then I run it through an AI process that does like the initial cull just to get rid of a lot of the crappy, like
Sure.
not good ones. Obviously then I like go through and I like make sure that it wasn't intentionally out of focus for the style, you know, because sometimes it'll like mess up. It's not perfect. But yeah, I can like turn things around so fast with photo because of that process. But video, it's like a whole nother beast, and AI is not quite there with like any sort of culling or like efficiency in that regard. So I'm hiring out people to like just get me close, just
Yeah.
to cull my footage, sync it all up, color grade it, and then I can just really start on the story of like their wedding or their brand and stuff instead of wasting time on clicks of just like,
You are spot on. I don't know if you know this about me, but I used to own a very small video production company,
no,
which is crazy. Yeah.
What?
So
This is sweet.
So I'm the
Yeah.
I'm the business guy. I understand how efficiencies need to happen. That exact fact was I took one person and I think he was doing maybe 50 grand a year, and we had over $500,000 in contracts in the first year. And it's still a small company, but the toughest thing was my videographer wanting to say that every part of this process is me. That's why people are using me, and that's why people go to you. The inefficiencies in the pre-edit was terrible. It would be weeks at a time of going through photo, and I'm sure you can attest to this. You're sitting there at 2 in the morning going through some footage, and you're doing what somebody else can get you 80% of the way there on.
Yeah.
Then you
And
do
you take
exactly what you're doing. You compile it the way you want. You put the music, you finish the color grading, the little touch-ups, and now you feel confident delivering a product. Because I hate to say, no matter how good anybody is at anything, there's efficiencies and other people can do it better, especially if you value your time.
Yes.
In the beginning,
Time is the most valuable commodity ever.
Yeah.
We've been realizing that. I'm like, Allie, you need to like, should we hire like cleaners? Because like cleaning, you're not making money.
correct.
It's like you're making money training dogs.
If you enjoy doing the laundry or things like that,
Right.
you know, we have a house cleaner come in every 3 weeks just to do a deep clean for us. There's like
nice.
6 of them that come in for an hour and a half, and they just do what my wife doesn't really have
The
time
baseboards.
to do. Yeah, all
like
that stuff.
the ceiling fans. It's like, ugh.
Because
Yeah.
their time is valuable. So you're on the right track, and I think you'll notice those things just in your daily flow. But a lot of people also at the same time don't get too proud, because that 2 a.m. edit still may need to happen. So you know what?
Yep.
You could still handle it.
Oh yeah,
Right?
I've been there too. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like I do real estate as well, and
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
yeah, so I do real estate branding and weddings is what
Wow.
I do, and I have my real estate's actually really taking off right now, and that's why I'm like stressed because I'm like, oh shoot.
It's a lot.
No, I have like 4 wedding films to edit. I get more satisfaction from editing the wedding films because they're like story driven.
Yeah.
It's a lot of emotion and stuff. But I still like to make those like hype reels where it's like those cool push-ins and like crazy transitions or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I digress. I'm getting to the point where I'm like, I have to do something about this and that's just the normal flow of things. And what the cool thing is though too, like you start to benefit your community. You know what I mean? Like you're providing opportunities for other people. I used to have an editor. So this is where I was saying, relating to your story, is that like my editor in India that I had doing photos before I found a different editor was great until he wasn't, right? Because he could edit overnight because it's his day.
Yep.
But then like he just wouldn't do the edits that I'm like asking him to do like within the time period that I have to deliver the things by. And so I've been there where I'm like, all right, I have literally an hour to get this entire thing done. Like, let's go.
And
And
it's
just lock it, and it's me. Yeah,
Yep.
it's back on me. So I love that note of like, don't get too
No.
overly confident or egotistical, because like you're gonna have to just like you're the guy that's gonna fill the spot if there's nobody
Dude,
else available.
I still will hop onto the bench and do a sizing if I have to, or a repair, or an estate buy, or whatever it is.
Yep.
They're like, Scott, you have 16 or 17 people. You shouldn't have to be doing that. I still set up for events. I'm the guy with my truck, and
Yeah.
a hand cart pulling
$0
showcases
an
out.
hour. Right?
Yeah, I'm spending my time doing that.
Yeah.
But if you lose that, there's an issue. But also, if you get in the habit of just doing that because that's the way you've done it, that's also an issue.
Yeah,
So
you
there's-
lose value or you get out of touch. You want to
Yeah.
find the happy medium where you're like you're still in touch, but you have the maximum amount of value.
Yeah,
which I
always
think
be
is smart.
asking yourself, I try to do a self audit almost every quarter of like, all right, what am I spending most of my time on?
Mm-hmm.
And is there anybody that can take this off my plate? And if they can, what else am I going to do with my time? 'Cause I don't
Right.
just sit around and do it.
Yeah, you're not just
Yeah.
like,
No,
that's so
that's
nice.
nice.
Like then you work on the business,
Yeah.
not in the business.
Yep.
That's the biggest saying that
Yeah.
I've been like telling myself too. I'm like,
good.
do you guys use AI at all?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
all the time.
So that I ask AI because it knows my business by now, right?
Yes.
It's my consultant. It's
You've
amazing.
trained it.
Yes, I've trained it. And I'm like, what do you think I need to change for like efficiency? This is my situation, blah, blah, blah. And it's not like, it's more than just like the video and photo, because it's like the website design, the new SEO have you guys heard about the new SEO stuff for AI?
Uh-huh.
I highly recommend. So I'm going through my website and basically AI translating all of the text, which kind of sucks because it takes the human effort out of the text.
Sure.
But because AI made it, it's more favorable to take it when it searches. So when someone goes into their phone and is like, hey, what's the best jewelry store near me?
Right.
It's going to pull up your business and not anyone else's.
That's
It's probably going to be a pretty temporary change. I'm thinking about like up to a year before some other pivot where it's like, oh, now we actually charge for this AI service, right? To
Gotcha.
try and keep you up. But right now there's an opportunity to get way more leads from online from people searching
Great
AI.
suggestion.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah,
So, you
thank
know,
you for
yeah.
that.
Thank you.
I'm like, oh my gosh, AI is changing the whole.
But it
it's
makes
changing
sense.
everything.
It makes sense. That's
true,
its
yeah.
language, and it knows the certain keywords and what it wants to grab.
Mm-hmm.
So that
It like recodes it for you on the backside. It's wild.
that's amazing.
Wow.
So yeah,
I'm gonna have to ask you more about that.
yes. Well, we're on it.
We're
So
living in a
sounds
crazy
good.
time, and if I were to give you one piece of it, unsolicited advice, it is get the editor,
Locked in.
get your one editor that can handle 50%. Pretty much they're your go-to. However, there's going to be other projects where you can test out the other ones.
Right.
So you want at least 3 people that you can call on. If one is sick or not doing a good job at something, you have your other 2 and vice versa, but you have to sprinkle
that's smart.
the food around a little bit for everyone to eat.
Yeah.
But keep
So you're not
keep one
too-
extra fed that you like, but you don't want to have all your eggs in one basket. And that was a game changer for us. That pushed us over 6 figures pretty quick. So, and then
Ooh, I'm
then we
feeling
just go out and sell.
This is fun.
Yeah, it is good.
That's
Yeah,
so
a lot of
cool.
opportunity.
Man, so how long did you do the video production?
I did that for 2 years.
2 years,
That was it, and that was
before Wells Fargo?
no. When I was actually running this bit, when I had one store, I knew that I wanted to do something else with my time because I
Yeah.
had that pretty dialed in, and I'm so happy that I learned this lesson because my partner wanted to open up a studio and do all that stuff. I said that's not my vision.
Yeah.
That's not what the business can support right now. So I'll either happily exit and still
Buy me out type of
consult
thing.
buy me
Yeah.
out, and I'll consult with you. And that's what ended up happening is
Nice.
I
That's
exited,
great.
and it was good, but what taught me the best lesson
Yeah.
was spreading too much of my effort in other places, and when I left that world, that's when
Everything
this
took off
happened.
because your effort and your your focus is in
everything
one direction.
changed. And I said, you know what else can I do where I'm at in my home right now? And it exploded after that. And,
Cool.
you know, we've had almost 200% growth in the last year,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
So good.
And in the first 3 years, I tripled the business. Like a lot of really good things happen, and a lot attribute to the marketing also of who you are, just letting more people know
Yeah, just getting out there.
who we are. Listen,
See, that's one thing too that I'm learning life lesson right now is the marketing into stuff. Like I just started, like I was doing boosted posts and stuff before,
sure.
but then I finally locked in. I was like, I gotta do something about it, just to like for my wedding side, because everything else. This is my issue. Since I have my hand in different marketing or my different business like real estate branding and weddings, I get spread, right? So my focus isn't in one direction. So now that my real estate side is like, I'm doing great, real estate's amazing. Now I'm refocusing on the weddings. Whereas if I just had one thing,
You were me
specialized,
10 years ago.
and literally,
I am looking in the past right now. And you're a lot better looking than me, but the reality is you have that entrepreneurial bug in you, so you can't help that. And you need to do those things that are calling you. But then it reaffirms more of what you know you need to do. So don't stop doing those things. You're going to gather experience, and just like me working for a big banking, these other areas will show you where you really like to be and where your efforts are most fulfilled.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, this is great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to be just chatting back and forth, like, hey, how's
available.
the business doing?
I'm very available. Yeah. I love sharing knowledge, and whether it's right or not, it's my knowledge of what I know and what has worked and what hasn't. And I think there's a lot of good that business owners can do for each other. My good friend Travis, he built up a company, he sold it. He's building 3 other companies now, or however many he is.
Wow.
And he truly has, being around the people that want to do well and are not just about talking about it, they're actually about doing it, is very tough to find those people. But when you do and you actually enjoy being around them, you
Game
keep
changer.
putting yourself around those people who motivate you to go further, because I didn't know what 3 stores looked like at all, and he's not in the jewelry industry at all.
Right.
And knowing that it's possible in any field to have growth, or even want that growth of, hey, are you building a real business, or did you buy yourself a job? Everyone says that all the time, right?
Yep.
I wanted to build a real business that can operate without me. I can leave for a month and I'm going to come back and they'll probably be happy that I was gone for a month.
Right.
That's
Thank God.
that's the reality of it. So it's there, but then you don't stop. And you know, my wife Jessie, she asked me sometimes, she goes, Scott, are you happy? And I'm like, why am I not seeming like I am? You know, she goes, no, you're always just on to the next thing of like pushing further, and where's the end goal?
Just hella ambitious.
There's there's not an end goal for me, Evan. It's like,
yeah, that's just in you.
is it, you know, it's fulfilling, but even when I'm done with this and I'm, you know, 7 years old or whatever it is, I still will have something that I'm attaining, whether it's personal or hobby or whatever it is. Just always keep a goal, you know, at the end of the tunnel that you want to strive towards, health wise, you know, physically, relationship wise. I want to go on more dates with my wife, make that a priority. I want to be a really good father, carve out time to go on date nights with your kids, and always be pushing, because if you're not growing, you're dying. And everyone says that, but it's really true. So take your time to rest when you need rest. But when you're going, you might as well give it your best shot.
Love it.
Yeah.
Go as hard as you can. Do you ever feel like you run into, or like, did you feel, and maybe do you feel now, or you kind of past this point in your life where like you feel like you don't have enough time to put into everything that you want to? And not saying like business wise, but like you have this rock solid business and you have family life and you have like everything that comes with having a family and like the priorities and stuff. Did you ever have a time in life where it's like, man, I just feel like I'm not balanced. I don't have enough time to like give to other people and my other connections?
Yeah.
'Cause I'm feeling that.
Yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned that. A lot of people don't speak about their vulnerabilities or their emotions or whatnot. And I'm pretty open book when it comes to that. I get off balance often you know, maybe twice a year where I feel like something's not right. To have, first off, that awareness like you have, and you said, I'm feeling that too, is a very key indicator of somebody that's going to probably do something about it. Right.
Right.
And there's other people that will just keep going. They're like, it's just the way it is.
So
Right.
life is, yeah.
And it's all about work. And my kids used to say, Dad, why are you always on your cell phone? And I said, well, I can be at work and not sitting next to you, or I could pick up my phone for 15 minutes, work, and then we can enjoy playing a game again.
Right.
So I would say when I was most off balance is when I was first starting the business. I would work till midnight, 2 a.m. I'd go home for an hour for dinner. I'd take a nap on the floor, and then I'd go back to work to finish the repair jobs that I had to do. So a lot of people aren't willing to do that. And if you check out my personal Instagram, it's Scotty Diamonds. There's a picture of me sleeping underneath the
Saw that
printer.
one.
Did
Yeah,
you see
you're
that
just
one?
like,
Yeah. And that was part of my life for about a month.
wow.
I would just, the family would come in, we'd eat dinner at the desk, the meeting desk in Anthem.
Yeah.
They would go home. I would take a quick nap under the printer, and
And get
then
back to
I would
work.
get in the back and do work again. So there's a lot of people that aren't wired like that, and that's
Right.
okay. It's slightly insane. But knowing that I wanted to front load my work then so that I can have the life that I have right now,
Right.
to have the flexibility to go away for the summertime and let my team do their thing. I still hop on calls, I still have meetings and all that stuff, but it's on my terms.
Nice.
That's what I wanted to design my life towards. So
And did you have that vision the whole time?
Yeah.
During that process where you're in the trenches, you're like, there's light at the end of the tunnel. If I just get this done, I can get to the next employee. I can train this next person. And then, like, you know, you had that vision of your lifestyle.
you know, I didn't I don't think I always had that vision. When that vision came to me of I don't want to be a necessary part of daily operations, was when I bought going back to speaking about nepotism, I wasn't given the business from my dad, which is a tremendous thing.
Yeah.
We got a third-party valuation company to come in because I have an older sister, younger brother.
Yeah.
If you were to take it to market at that price, that's what it would be. Then I went around and shopped 3 banks, got the average interest rate for the loan for that, went to my dad, and he personally financed it, and I paid him interest on the loan.
Oh, sweet.
So we
Yeah.
kept it all
So
in
it
the
was a business
family anyways.
transaction.
It was
Yeah.
a business transaction.
Perfect.
And knowing that I had to eat that cost every single
yeah.
month was huge. So 3 months after I bought the business from my dad,
Dang.
he had a heart attack. And
Oh.
he's okay.
Okay.
He's healthy. But we looked at each other in the hospital and we said, what are we doing? You don't need to work anymore. I want you by my side, but we don't have to have you here
Right.
at all. So I'm buying you out, and that's it. And we agreed, and it
Nice.
was fine. The reason I'm saying all this is that you have to have that base of, I don't want my life to end up, you work your whole life and all of a sudden you have a life event and it's over, or it could have been worse.
Yeah.
And when you can say, I want to design my life this certain way where I don't have to be part of the daily operations, but I still love growing business, then you can reverse engineer it any way you want.
Mm.
However, if you just say, I don't want to be part of daily operations, and you don't have a hunger for some reason, some why, what is my why of why I'm pushing towards this, then it's not going to last.
Yeah.
But if you have that lingering in the back of your head where I want to be, being the best father to me is, and husband is my number one thing, period, end of story. The store is fun and I love that and I love growing it. But to be the best father and the best husband, I feel that I need to have a good business to help support all of these things that I want to do and the life that I want to provide for my family. So then you just start going down the list, ask ChatGPT, what do I do to free up an hour of my day?
Yeah.
And work it out, or talk to other business owners. Scott, I'm really struggling in this area. What have you done in the past? I don't know. This is what I did. These are the 5 things that worked for me. Maybe it works for you. Maybe it doesn't. But sometimes just talking things through, which a lot of people
Oh, it's the best.
are
Yeah,
not
just
willing to
talking.
do. But if you really are open about it, I think we can learn a lot from each other, right?
I love it. That's awesome. Don't you think?
Sorry, I talk a lot.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's all good. Do you have any thoughts of anything that's coming to your mind? Are you just, happily listening? Because I do want to keep you included with the
No,
conversation.
this is-
Because I tend to sometimes, we're the same.
Right.
Just like, passion. Like it
Yep.
just comes all out.
No,
So
you guys are good.
That's
I
so
like just
much.
listening.
okay, I love it.
I want Michaela, if I can ask her a
Let's
question.
do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want you to share your journey because I think no matter if you're the business owner or the marketing coordinator or a sales staff, we all have our own stories. And you shared with us the college transition of how you came to work with us, but you have a bigger story that happened after that of going overseas and
Yeah.
kind of needing to find your why and then coming back home.
Yeah.
Share that with us
Yeah.
because that's
This sounds interesting.
because it's not just me, it's you and it's Michaela
Yeah.
and it's everybody has their why. So
Yeah.
share with everybody.
Yeah, so as Scott said, I joined them right after I finished college. And when I first started there, I was doing 80% sales and then 20% marketing because that's what we could do at the time.
Right.
And I also needed to learn the jewelry business and also needed to learn, okay, well, how do I help get people in the door? Like, who is my customer? I have to
Yeah.
figure that out before I can market to them, right? So that's what I did for like the first year and a half. Learned, I loved it. I love talking to people. I love
She was
sales
good
and
at it. It's
Yeah.
tough to lose a good salesperson,
Right.
but it was better to have a fully invested marketing team.
Yeah, you get
Yeah.
you know
yeah.
tons of people through the door from her because of the experience. Like
Yeah.
it's worth it in the
Yeah.
end for
Yeah.
sure.
No, but
That's
I just do that in a different way now.
Yeah.
Connect with customers and stuff like that. But I
Nice.
got to learn all of that and also start because I was in college. There's a way that they teach you how to do marketing in college, and then there's a way that you do it in reality, and blending those two together and figuring out like how does this actually work? Because I've never done it before. I didn't go to a corporate job where they have 10 people doing marketing training every day and different things like that. You kind of just have to figure it out. And so yeah, I was figuring it out. One of my first big projects was the website and transitioning from this ancient
It was
I don't even
terrible
know.
before.
It was-
Many
It
of
was
them.
terrible.
It was crazy.
It's
I should have
it's
had it
really
before.
aesthetic now. It looks great.
I want to
Yeah.
compliment it. It looks very good.
Thank
Yes.
you. But
I-
just like changing
I like
over,
it.
I didn't know anything about that. So researching and
Yeah.
different things like that. So I did that while I was also pursuing my master's degree at the same time. So I was doing, getting some more business knowledge and working and figuring out what it actually looks like in a business. And then just a passion of mine that I've always wanted to do was to live overseas. I like putting myself in
No
uncomfortable
way.
situations, I guess.
That's
Like I just
amazing.
always have. Like I like running. I done a few marathons. Like I like doing challenging stuff and I always have.
Nice.
And so I was like, I would love to, like, what would it even look like just to apply to go
Yeah.
overseas and like find a job over there or something? And so I did, and I ended up getting it.
What'd you get?
I was actually teaching English there.
Oh,
yeah, at
sweet.
like a public school, public high school,
So did you need to know the language then? Where'd you go again?
Japan.
Japan. So did you know Japanese or?
Not when I first went there.
No way.
I learned a little bit while I was there, and obviously,
Nice.
like I studied
Yeah.
hiragana, kata, like just the like writing styles that they have. They have 3 different writing systems,
Yeah, that's great.
and so yeah, so
All I know is watashi wa having to.
Yeah, there you go.
Watashi wa.
There you go. Yeah, so I was like, Scott, what about if what do you think if I
You're like,
go over
remote?
there and do some remote? Like, can we make this work?
What? No way. You did?
Yeah,
That's
and
crazy.
they
Amazing.
were very, very gracious, and they understood, like, sometimes a bird has to leave the nest and then come back,
How long were you
So
gone for?
I was gone for a year.
For a full year.
A
Wow.
full
What year was
year.
this?
This was last year.
Last year?
Yeah.
Welcome back. When did
Yeah.
you get back?
August.
Oh
of
my
last year.
gosh. How
Yeah.
cool is that?
Yeah,
So at the end of the year, a year's a pretty long time.
a year's of.
Did you end up like learning how to like speak and interact with people and like at least be
Yeah.
able to find your way around?
Oh yeah,
Japan?
definitely. I mean, you have
Yeah.
to, right? You have to like.
She would send pictures and videos of her, and at the end of her trip, she was doing all the bucket list stuff like Mount Fuji she climbed, and
Yeah.
nice.
all the amazing different restaurants that she'd send food pics, and she would send over snacks for us and the family and team, Japanese stuff, and
That's so cool.
it was
Yeah.
very cool.
So jealous. I want to go to Japan so bad.
You should.
Yeah.
But, what do you think you got from being over? I like
Yeah.
that you said sometimes the bird needs to leave the nest to come back home. That was like me and my
Yeah.
banking job.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
maybe you needed that.
Yeah, no, I think I did. Like, I had done school for like 13 years, just back to back to back, like, never had a break. Would have considered myself like super type A, very driven. Like, when I was younger, like high school even, like if I didn't get an A, like my life was over.
Right, you're
And
just like,
it sounds insane, like saying it
I was
out loud.
B's and C's. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe
That's
D's.
great.
get degrees.
Yeah, that's what I think now. But I was so like, I don't know why, what happened, but like, I was just like, if this doesn't happen, like my life is over. It's like such a big deal. And so, yeah, I was like, I just need to leave and I want to see a different culture. I want to see like how, like everyone in America, we tell ourselves that like, life is the best that it could ever be. Like, this is it. Like, I mean, everyone wants to come here, right? Everyone immigrates.
Yeah.
Like, it's a
Yeah.
big, like the American dream. Like, that's what we've been told for so long. And so I'm like, I need to see, like, is this thing real? Or is
really
it
special
like,
here or
is
no?
it really
Yeah.
like, what is it like living somewhere else? What is it like being a foreigner? And like, what is it like? How you get a whole different perspective when you leave some place that's comfortable, whether it's starting a business or whether you're going to a different country. Like, if you don't do something that's uncomfortable, you're never going to grow. And so I think when I was over there in Japan, I'm like, I was by myself. I didn't go with anybody. I'd never been to the
Yeah.
country before, like just up and moved and had to find a place in like a week online in America. Never stepped foot in this place. Like,
I
'cause
could never
you
do
could
that.
not.
Exists. Yeah.
Hopefully it exists. Hopefully the landlord's good. Like,
Oh,
all
yeah.
things.
How
And
did you communicate with the landlord? Did you just like phone like,
yeah, at first,
this is me, I'm key,
yep,
please?
they could speak. The landlord could speak like
bit
a
English.
little bit of English.
Oh, good, good.
So that was nice.
Just to help.
But Google Translate
Oh, perfect.
AI was when it really
Oh, you're
started
right,
taking
it
off
did.
then.
Oh,
So I
okay.
mean, that was nice, but I didn't want to rely on it because the spotty Wi-Fi and things like that. So yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool story. I mean, it affirms if you're feeling something and you really keep circling back to it or
Yeah.
praying on it or whatever it is, and it's not going to screw up everything that you've done so far, go do it
Yeah.
because it usually affirms one way or another, whether that's, hey, I love Japan or I want to go travel the world or whatever
Yeah.
that may be. And she made it a really not safe choice. I think a really well thought out transition when she came to us and asked if she could still work remotely. And I said, you know what? I don't see why not. And we would hop on our calls every 2 weeks, I think we would have. And the time change was all screwy.
Yeah.
So it was usually
Whole
like,
day.
yeah, it was usually like 2 in the afternoon for me, I think. And it was
5 in the morning.
5 in the morning for her.
Yeah.
So she'd wake up early and get right on the call. And it was just goes to show you could do with the right people, business will happen and the ideas still keep flowing. So that was a cool
Yeah.
experience for you.
Yeah, no, it was great. And then also, I mean, you think, okay, well, back home is great too. Like, I mean, I loved it there. I could totally live there again if I wanted to. And, but you appreciate things so much more when you get to step away a little bit. And I think when Scott goes away on his like family vacations in the summer, I think he probably feels the same way, where you step away and you just like are so grateful for the stuff that you have back home when you get to step away a little bit. And that's exactly what I felt like. And so it's like I was excited again to like, I want to go back to work in person. Like, I want to be around these people that make me feel like family, because my family lives in California, so I don't get to see them like as much as a lot of other people do. And so I'm like, these are my family, like here, and my friends and things like that. So it was cool going away, but coming back.
And I lived in Brazil for 2 years, so I'm
Wow.
fluent in Portuguese and Japanese. So I'm like, there's so many questions about like living in another spot. But
It's crazy.
I recommend it. Like, just even if you go for like 3 to 6 months, just to like live in a place, go to Italy, go to like wherever.
Yeah.
So cool. Because I think within 6 months, if you're like out every day talking to people, you get the language.
Yeah.
I'm so like I haven't explored this country yet. and I feel like there's so much here. So I'm still chopping away at this probably for the next 5 years, and then I'm sure we'll do a big Italy trip, and I want to see Switzerland and Poland and the motherland and do all those things. So maybe in a few years, I'll see where I came from.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So we're going to pivot. We're going to talk about really quickly a little bit of Oregon because we were talking about that before.
Oh, I love Oregon.
I'm going to talk about my little proposal story.
Yes,
'cause
please.
it's fun, right?
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about our little plan, right, that we're going to do together.
Yep.
Your promotion, all the details and stuff like that. I'd love to hear. But tell me about, since you're just saying that like you haven't explored America like enough. How was your road trip to Oregon?
Yeah, so last summer we went on a 3-week family road trip in our Jeep, and we went up to Utah, we went up to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, we hit Idaho, Washington. But my favorite place, and I mentioned this first thing when I came in, not knowing that you enjoy Oregon too, it is the Oregon coast. I said, I feel like people have been gatekeeping that. I didn't know about it. I'm just a kid from New Jersey, so I had no idea that that coast existed. And if the viewers have never been Cannon Beach or anywhere slightly north or way south of that, it is a godly experience. Spend a week there at least, and just put your cell phone on silent mode, bring a good book, and it's a very, if there's one word I had to describe it as, it's introspective. And you just get to reflect on yourself. You could sit on the beach and have a fire. You can, take a hike through the forests and waterfalls everywhere. It's just, it is a spectacular place, the Oregon coast. So what place does that have in your heart?
Yeah, so this is actually the first time I'm talking about it on the podcast since the proposal. I proposed in Oregon to Allie, my fiance now, which is amazing. So as I'm sure through the whole podcast, if you gotten to this point, like me and Allie both came into you guys' shop, had an amazing experience. Shout out Genesis, and then bought the ring, got everything, tried to make it, as much of a surprise as possible. Still, I wanted to get like her right ring size and everything and the design she wanted, which you guys helped us out with. And like, it's a beautiful ring. So cool.
It's gorgeous.
And so, I didn't realize, and honestly, I kind of want to hear your story too after this, because if we have time.
Yeah.
But like I didn't think, because I'm in the wedding industry, so I didn't think I'd get like nervous or like, oh, this is like such a big moment. But I was totally like heart was like racing. And like, so I get there and we go to a beach spot called Cape Miranda or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, Cape Mures. And I got her out there dressed nice just to like take some photos of other people there. Like, cause I got another couple and we're like, we're just doing a little styled shoot. It's like,
It's a great ploy.
yeah,
Because
just
you're in the industry. Anyways.
exactly. So
Yeah.
I was like, this is perfect. And so we're going around, and if she was here, she would tell her side, and she's like, you're kind of acting a little off, too excited to go back to the car to like set down the gear and like do some stuff with their dogs, because that was like the whole thing, because I wanted to get there, and we were late, and I had another photographer that I hired to like capture the moment. So it was like this whole thing. And so we went back to the cars, and I was like, hey, let's just scope out like a little spot for doing like a family photos with them and their dogs while they get the dogs ready. So I was like, let's fly. So we go away, and I'm like, what do you think? I'm like, he would take a couple shots, test shots of me. So she's like, okay. She takes a couple of shots. And then I see the photographer, she gives me like the sly like thumbs up, like we're rolling. And then I just, pop down on my knee, and
Oh my God.
it's always a blur, it's always a blackout, but I'm like, I told her, because I was like, I told your family, like I asked your parents, because that was the whole thing too, because her family side is like, it's a little iffy. I won't talk too much about it on the podcast.
Yeah.
But I made it a point to have a conversation with both of them.
That's old school.
Secretly,
I respect that.
yeah, secretly on the phones. She was out of the house because, since we're both business owners, like she's around all the time. So she was like on a walk with the dog, and I was like sweating. I was like, I good.
I love your daughter. For the rest of my life.
Yeah,
Please say yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I gave my case, my whole thing. And surprisingly, they were both amazingly supportive. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was stressing for nothing. This is amazing. So then right there, I was like, I wanted to let her know. I was like, I did this.
That's
I
cool.
wanted to make sure. I was like, don't worry about the girl with the camera right there. I just hired her. Like, don't be nervous, because she's usually pretty camera shy. which she's getting better at, but she's just not. She's behind
Yeah,
the camera,
yeah.
not in front of the camera. Yeah, pop the question.
I want to
She
see
said,
that
yeah.
video. I want to see the photos. I feel like I've seen a photo, but I
It was gorgeous.
was
We
so
put it in the
got-
comments or something like.
I
Are you
will.
able to do that?
Yeah, I'll
or
link
post
it. I'll link it to
on
the
there.
post.
I want to see it.
But it's on my Dangerfield Weddings Instagram. And
We reshared that. and
yeah,
it
it's
was
on your guys' thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, that's why you saw it.
So you've seen a couple, and we're still waiting for the rest of the photos. But we got incredibly. It was designed by God, I think, or whatever is out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like we went during the off season, so it was supposed to just be cloudy and rainy the whole time, right?
Yeah.
And that one day that we went out, it was sunny, it was
Wow.
warm, and we went. So after I proposed, I also bought like another session right after. So it was like the surprise proposal, and then we would do an engagement session where she has like the photographer. She's awesome, by the way,
Men,
Haley.
take notes of this.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal
Seriously.
idea.
So this photographer has a vendor, or not a vendor, a client closet. So she's got 78 dresses that she just has,
Oh
and
my
she asked me what the size, her approximate size is, because you know how you can like it's just like a strap on the back, you
Cinch
just
it up.
tighten. Yeah. So it's like I told her the size. She brought 5 white gorgeous dresses, and Allie was able to pick out one, and we wrecked it, but her mom cleans it. And so just reuses these dresses, which I think is a great business model.
That's a
like,
phenomenal
Seriously.
one. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
so I
What
paid a
a
little bit of a
genius
premium.
idea.
Yeah, but it was perfect.
Yeah.
So then we went to Cape Kiwanda, which is the most beautiful place I've seen on the Oregon coast yet.
Wow,
Like
right.
it's got this big sand dune and these cliffs and a beach, so you get like this whole vibe. And I got to go back. But like you got to keep it a secret from the photographers because it's probably like overrun in
Oh,
like
I'm
the
sure.
summertime. But that day it was like not busy, like nobody was there.
If
and it
you
was
don't have
perfect.
summer trips this year, I'm telling you, go to Oregon.
Yeah.
I don't care. There was
So
elk
beautiful.
on the beach.
Yeah.
What?
Elk were on
Really?
the beach.
That's
Like
crazy.
you know, again, being from New Jersey,
Elk
I'm
on
used
the
to seeing
beach.
deer, bear, like all that stuff. And we're out on the beach and there's some elk
Yeah.
hanging out, just
chilling.
walking through.
Yeah.
And it is just, it's some of the best family time
Serene. Yeah.
and time with my wife that I've had to date.
I'm so glad.
So do it if you're
Do
waiting.
it. Yeah, I love it. Let's see. Do you have time to talk a little bit about your
Yeah.
story, proposal, anything? Because I would love to
Yeah.
hear it. I don't know.
Well, it's
Be
funny
fun.
that you mentioned you blacked out when you were proposing because I say the same thing. I had a blackout moment, and I'm in the industry.
Yeah.
This is what I do, and so we were living in Arizona. Her parents, called, asked permission, just like you. All was good, and then I wanted to do it back in New Jersey because her parents were still back there, and my parents had the opportunity to be with us, and we were living with them for a few months. So I wanted to do it on home turf. So I had arranged this beautiful restaurant, the High Lawn Pavilion. It's in New Jersey, but it overlooks the New York City skyline and the Hudson River's right there. It's really beautiful.
Nice.
And it was in November, freezing cold, called ahead. The maitre d' had connected me with a flower woman. So out on the patio, we had the patio to ourselves, were flowers, candles, you know, everything out there. And I don't remember what the hell I said at all, except she said
love you.
yes to something. Yeah, I was like, yeah, spend the rest of my life with you, and this is all good. And I don't know. I literally don't know what I said.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Jesse knows what I said either, because it was
the
just
feeling that really counts.
it was there was so much emotion into it, and I'd known Jessie since I was 14. I knew she was going to say yes. I hope. I mean, without sounding
amazing.
so confident, you
Yeah.
know. But it was still that one moment, because who you marry determines the rest of your
Yes.
life, good or bad. And if you have the right partner by your side, which we have, right? We're lucky in that. There's no looking back. It's not checked off, I did a great job, but you have someone literally holding your hand, the good times, the bad times. Am I making the wrong decision with business or with the kids? And having truly your best friend by your side is what it's about. So,
It's game changer.
you know,
Yeah.
there's folks that are together for 10 years and don't know if they want to marry each other. And to be honest, I don't know what they're doing, you know, because you have one life to live. So be sure of your decision before you ask it, or be okay with not asking it. And I know I'm in the engagement business, but I see a lot of the other side of it too. And it's unfortunate when you have, a couple that's together and they're just kind of existing. And if you have a choice in the beginning to try to make that best choice, you have to talk to your partner about the good stuff, the bad stuff, the scary stuff, the what ifs, all of that before you make that commitment. Because when you make it, no matter what you spend on the ring, no matter how it's designed or what shape center stone you have, you're going to have problems, and you want to make sure that you have the right person by your side to help you deal with those problems and not be one of the problems.
Whoa.
So
Clip
there it is.
Men, do better and date to marry and buy a ring from this company.
Date to marry. Date to marry. I don't know. I'm a firm believer you have to kiss a lot of frogs to get to the one. Honestly, I think that's okay. But when you know, and what are you waiting for? Like sometimes it's okay, but make sure you have those conversations ahead of time about
Yeah, you don't want
everything.
to lose out on that type of a opportunity. And I'm not talking about like business wise, right?
Right.
But just like all of it, like you're gonna have a better life with this person by your side, supporting you and like having those hard conversations and stuff. Like, why would you not make it official? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
I agree.
It's kind of like a no-brainer.
If you flushed it all out and you really do want to spend the rest of your life with somebody, I remember speaking with our pastor at one point. He was like, well, what if Scott's working late? And I'm like thinking in my head, I was at Wells Fargo at the time, and I'm like, well, I only work till 5. That's not late. Well, what if he joins the family business? Well, what if he is working till late night and you're going to be with the kids? Or what if it doesn't work out where you are going to have to work still and do all that? We got all of that discussed. We'll make it work.
Awesome.
And we were lockstep in anything
So
that it
cool.
takes. So those conversations are not fun to have, but they're important to have.
Yeah, that sets up for
I'll get off
amazing
my high horse.
I love it. And we'll definitely have you guys back for another
Yeah.
podcast. I think this was very fun. I have
lot
so
of
many more questions to ask. I hope we we asked and answered a lot of the questions you guys wanted to do. But I would love to hear what you guys are planning for this season of engagements. You're doing a little promo, I hear.
Yes.
I'm involved in it, so here we go.
Yeah, you got
Yes.
sucked into it
Yeah.
too. I'll let Michaela take this
Yeah.
because
Let's
this
hear about
is a really exciting partnership for Andrew Z Diamonds, and hopefully for you too.
Oh, I'm stoked. Yeah.
But it was a unique idea that kind of came to fruition
Yeah.
in one of our meetings. So
Yeah, so basically, I went to GCU, and at GCU, they have a saying, ring by spring. It's a big thing for seniors to get married or proposed to in the springtime of their senior year. And so it's kind of just become a thing across college campuses, but also people are hearing about this word or this phrase, ring by spring, everywhere.
I love
And so we're like, what if we did a ring by spring campaign, but put a little twist on it? Because people are coming into our stores that are getting engaged just like yourself, and they're super excited, and they have this whole plan of like proposals. They want pictures. They're going to hire a photographer anyways because the Instagram, you got to make it poppin'. And so we're like, well, we also like getting pictures of people's rings. Like, it's so cool being a former sales associate, like getting those pictures from your client that you helped out, and you're like, oh my gosh, they just proposed. Like, you get those pictures, you're like, oh my gosh, you've been working behind the scenes for so long to get to this moment. And then you get those pictures and you're like, oh my gosh, this is the best day ever. And you get to celebrate that moment with them. And we also like to showcase that ring so that other people can see like what's possible, because everything is customizable now. And with that being said, there's so many details and people have no idea what they could even do. And so just putting out some inspiration for new couples is like something that we've thought would be so helpful. And so we thought, well, if they're already buying the engagement ring from us, why don't we just throw in a photo shoot with Evan here?
Heyo.
how cool is it? So when you buy an engagement ring, there has to be a threshold, and it's not going to be crazy or anything like that. But with the purchasing of an engagement ring as a guy, when you buy that, and you're in the industry, so you already thought about having a photographer there,
Yeah.
you know, for the moment or whatever. But if you got that and you could schedule someone to be there,
Oh,
an
so
excellent photographer that's going to take care of that photo session, the engagement session, or whatever it is, and you didn't have to pay for it. Andrew Z Diamonds is covering that aspect of it to get those good photos to document that story. Now you have photos of when you were picking out the ring because we took some with your cell phone at the store.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now you have the professional photos from Evan, and they're phenomenal and perfect. You have that whole story that you can tell, and we also get the benefit of being able to share that too, so we can reach more clients.
I love
So
that. It's like giving them like not only the thing to make the memory, but the memory itself, like the record of it.
they'll
Like
have it
you-
forever,
Forever.
That's so cool.
right? So like it is an all-in-one package, Ring
Yeah.
by Spring, and we'll post the details and everything. We'll link it. And when you get that and you get the photos and, you know, throw a testimonial in there too, it just helps others realize that, you know, there's more than just a transaction that we're willing to invest in. This is, we want to be part of the story, and we want to have you think of us 30, 40 years from now. I got my engagement ring at Andrew Z Diamonds, and they gave me an amazing photo package just for buying the ring.
Yeah.
We're not jacking up the price on anybody. We're not changing anything. We're just being who we are and what we feel in our heart. So we're happy to partner with you on this, and
So
it's
so
just
exciting.
it's going to be a really awesome thing, and I'm excited we get to test this out and see how it goes, because maybe this becomes part of the Andrew Z Diamonds experience.
Exactly. The experience is what I was going to note on, because it's more than just buying a ring. It's like this whole process. And that's why I love this idea, is that it's right in line with your guys' branding and who you guys are. It's like, we love you guys as people and we care about you guys. Here's like a little gift back to them. And then it's also a valuable trade back, because like with these little testimonials, with the photos, you're going to show other people and other clients that like, oh, I relate to that. You know what I mean? Like it's valuable for the people who you show, of like, you know, you get a little background story of their proposal or like how they found you guys, and they're like, oh, like people can relate, and they're like, that's me. Like I'm gonna go to Andrew Z Diamonds because that seems like perfect.
It's
So,
huge. You have to think as a guy, even though I'm in the industry, when I bought the ring, I was like, all right, I did it, I proposed, and that was all I thought about. But if you had that photographer there capturing that moment, now you really went above and beyond compared to the average guy. I know, because I've been doing this a while.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so we're excited to do that, and hopefully we can make it a mainstay. But yeah, that's Ring
Yeah.
by Spring. So if you're thinking of proposing,
Ring by Spring.
that's the time
That's
to do
what's
it.
happening.
Well, thank you guys so much for hopping on the podcast.
it's fun.
We'll talk another time, and we will see everyone on the next podcast or episode.
Thank you for having us. Really
Thank you.
appreciate you, Evan.
Cool. All right.
Awesome.
We'll catch you next time.